Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chase Chrisley reveals why Emmy Metters dumped him. It is no secret that Chase Chrisley and Emmy Metters are no longer together. The details of what caused this relationship to end, however, were never really made clear. Fortunately, Chase Chrisley was a guest on his sister Savannah's most recent podcast episode. Very early on in the podcast episode, Chase confirmed he and Emmy were over. He also confirmed he would be spilling some tea during the episode. While talking to his sister about the end of his relationship, Chase Chrisley admits that Emmy Metters decided to dump him. The question is, why? Chase Chrisley spills Emmy Metters dumped him and why. Pretty early on in the conversation, Chase admitted that both he and Emmy were going through things. He did what he could to be there for her during her struggles. Unfortunately, he implied that Emmy Metters was not necessarily as supportive of him and his struggles. Chase told his sister that Emmy Metters dumped him instead of hanging on while he worked his own problems out. Now Chase also tried to say the decision to end their relationship was mutual, but that was after confessing that Emmy decided to dump him first. Unfortunately, Chase Chrisley didn't really dive into the details of the asterisk he was going through, but fans that follow his family are already well versed. Sadly, it sounds as though Chase was implying Emmy Metters wasn't happy with the legal drama surrounding his mother and father. Ultimately, she decided to end the relationship as opposed to continuing to be there for Chase. While fans don't know all of the details about things Emmy Metters is going through, fans can assume her father's health is a huge part of it. Chase Chrisley told his sister that he did what he could to be there for Emmy during her struggles, but it didn't sound as if she returned the favor. Family's not a good match. Savannah Chrisley also made it pretty clear during the conversation that she did not care for Emmy Metters. She said she thought she was a good person, and she was not trying to get on the podcast and bash her. But she did not trust Emmy. She questioned her intentions of getting married to Chase. Moreover, Savannah Chrisley argued that it felt like Chase was choosing Emmy's family over his own during their relationship. To date, Emmy Metters has not issued an official statement on the end of her relationship with Chase Chrisley. After the release of Savannah Chrisley's most recent podcast episode, Chrisley fans have all eyes on Emmy Metters. Will she tell her side of the story? Chase Chrisley leaned back in the leather armchair of his Nashville apartment, his phone buzzing with missed calls from reporters. For weeks, rumors had swirled about why his engagement to Emmy Metters had suddenly crumbled. Whispers about money, trust, family drama, even reality show fatigue. But now he was finally ready to speak for himself. It wasn't one thing, Chase began in a low, deliberate voice. It was a bunch of small things that turned into a mountain. For most fans, Chase and Emmy had seemed like a picture-perfect Southern couple. They'd met years ago, on and off for a while, before reconciling in a romantic whirlwind that ended with a proposal. Their Instagram feeds had been filled with matching outfits, date night smiles, and beach vacations. But what the public didn't see, Chase explained, was how the pressures of family fame and personal expectations began to wear on their bond. When love meets reality TV, Chase admitted that being part of the Chrisley family came with a unique kind of stress. I've grown up in front of cameras. My family's life has been picked apart for over a decade. That's not an easy environment for a relationship, especially when you're engaged and planning a future, he said. He described how Emmy had initially handled the attention with grace. She smiled politely when approached in public, nodded through endless fan questions about Todd and Julie, and even agreed to film occasional segments. But over time, the constant spotlight started to feel less like a privilege and more like a burden. It's not normal to have strangers on the internet debating your relationship like it's a football game, Chase said. She wanted privacy, and I couldn't always give her that. Sometimes I didn't even have it myself. The more he talked, the more Chase's voice softened. This wasn't a blame game, at least not entirely. He confessed that he and Emmy simply wanted different things in the long run. I'm in this phase where I'm building my career, trying new things, taking risks, he explained. She was looking for stability, a home, maybe kids sooner rather than later. And I thought I was ready for that. But deep down, maybe I wasn't. It wasn't that he didn't love her. In fact, Chase said that love wasn't the issue at all. The problem was that love alone couldn't erase the tension between their timelines. Emmy was a planner, someone who liked to know where she'd be in 5 years. Chase, on the other hand, thrived on unpredictability. She wanted to plant roots. I wanted to see where life could take me. That's a hard thing to compromise on without one of us giving up a part of ourselves. Family tensions. And then, of course, there was the elephant in the room, the Chrisley family's ongoing legal troubles. With Todd and Julie serving their sentences, Chase found himself taking on a larger role in supporting his younger siblings and holding the family together publicly. That pressure, he said, was exhausting. Emmy was supportive in the beginning, Chase recalled. But as the months went on, the stress I was carrying started affecting us. I'd be on edge, distracted, dealing with lawyers and family calls, and she'd feel like I was imprisoned. I can't blame her for wanting a partner who could give her more of his attention. Friends close to the couple noticed the shift too. Their once frequent date nights became rare, replaced by long days of filming, meetings, and travel. It was like we were living parallel lives under the same roof, Chase admitted. The breaking point. When I asked him what exactly caused the final split, Chase paused for a long moment, looking out the window at the Nashville skyline. We were sitting at dinner one night, and she just looked at me differently. Not in a bad way, just in a way that told me she was already halfway out the door, he said quietly. The conversation that followed was short but honest. Emmy told him she needed something he couldn't give her right now. A settled, stable life without constant public drama. And though it hurt, Chase respected her for saying it outright. She didn't storm out. She didn't yell. She just said she thought we were on different paths. And she was right. Coping after the split. In the weeks that followed, Chase leaned on his family, friends, and faith to get through the heartbreak. He admitted that he initially went through the classic post-breakup stages: denial, anger, bargaining, and yes, a little Instagram unfollowing. I'm not gonna lie, seeing her pictures pop up at first, that hurt. But now I just want her to be happy, even if it's not with me, he said. He's thrown himself into work, focusing on business ventures and upcoming TV projects, while also making more time for his siblings. If this year's taught me anything, it's that family is everything. And if you're lucky enough to have it, you can get through just about anything, he said. A message for Emmy. When I asked if he had anything he'd want Emmy to know if she read this, Chase's expression softened. I just say thank you. Thank you for loving me when I was hard to love. Thank you for showing me what commitment looks like. And I'm sorry I couldn't give you the life you wanted at the time you wanted it. He took a deep breath before adding, you were my person for a while, and I'll always be grateful for that. Looking ahead, though the breakup was painful, Chase doesn't see it as a failure. Instead, he views it as a learning experience, one that's helped him better understand what he needs in a relationship and how to balance love with life's demands. I'm not closing the door on love, he said with a small smile. But right now, I'm focusing on becoming the best version of myself so that when the right person comes along, whether that's Emmy again or someone else, I'll be ready. As he stood to leave, Chase glanced back with one final thought. Sometimes two people can love each other and still not be right for each other. That's a hard truth, but it's better to face it than to pretend everything's perfect for the cameras. With that, he stepped out into the Nashville night, leaving behind the quiet hum of his phone and the unanswered questions of the internet. Whatever came next, Chase Chrisley was ready to face it, this time on his own terms.